Continuing on with the mantra of if you don't need it, you should get rid of it. We have to look at the assets or the information that you have within your custody. If you're storing credit card data or you're storing medical data or you're storing client data, and it's required that you do so by contract, for business reason, for legal reasons, whatever that might be, that's quite all right. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if you're maintaining this information and it's not required that you do so, it only becomes a liability to your organization. So PCI DSS Requirement 3.1 states that if you don't need the data, you need to be getting rid of it. And that there's a couple of requirements around what that looks like. You either have to have a manual process where you're manually going through and looking at your physical inventory. If you have print media, perhaps, you might have print media residing in an offsite storage facility. You might have electronic data residing in a database or in flat files somewhere. So when we start with the assessment of Requirement 3.1, we're going to ask for your data retention and disposal policies. Now, these data retention policies should state the type of data that you're keeping, why you're keeping it, and the length of time that you're keeping this data. What the assessor is going to do is the assessor is going to perform an inventory of where this data is located. Whether it be electronic or whether it be physical print media, we're going to be performing a kind of an inventory of where that media is at. And we're going to be sampling that data and then comparing the life of that data against your retention policies and procedures. Once again, if you need the data, there's no problem in keeping that. However, if you don't need it, it should be disposed of. We're then going to look at your data disposal policies and procedures and standards and your documentation and look at how you're going about securely removing that information. Now, this process of removing that information should be done at least quarterly. It needs to be in either a manual or an automatic process, but the process needs to be run quarterly. We're going to look to see that you securely delete that data, and understanding that delete is a little bit different than a secure delete function. When the term of secure delete is used, we're looking to making sure that the data can never ever be recreated or re-rendered, if you would. So if it's print media, we're looking to see that it's turned into confetti. If it's electronic media, we're looking to see that the data being securely deleted, meaning that the data is actually overwritten on a hard drive. So Requirement 3.1 requires that if you do not need the data to support your business or your legal requirements, that data needs to be removed.